This is Jimmy from Godeth, and you are listening to the Dan Chan Show.
So tonight I'm joined by Dylan, Luke, and Jimmy from UK Metalers Godeth. How are you doing this evening, gentlemen?
Spot on.
Yeah, he's doing good, mate.
Good. Now, how are things in God's own country, Yorkshire, Leeds, lads? How's it going there?
We're raining earlier, but it's a bit cold. But overall, it's pretty good. It's as good as it gets.
Yeah, lovely. I
Does
love
the
it.
job.
Yeah, of course. I'm familiar with that neck of the woods myself. So before we get into it, the name, does it frustrate you? Does anyone get the name wrong? Does anyone say Godeth or something like that? Because when I first saw you guys, I was like, Godeth, like Megadeth. I was just trying to get it in my head. And now, do people get it wrong? And who came up with the name?
Dylan, you can take this one.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we just get Godeth, but it's Godeth, which is like a mix of Gojira and Megadeth. I see it. But
you came up with it?
No, that was our old bassist. Unfortunately, we don't have a cool story behind it. We were originally called Snow Death, but we thought that was a bit rubbish. So he said, let's go with Godeth for now, and it stuck. So that's where it came from.
How many years ago was that?
There's no mad origin story for that. We're in the desert or out.
Some adventure. So listen, well, how long have you been going for?
5-6 years now.
Awesome.
2018 we filmed.
2018. With a big pandemic in the middle. We'll get into all that. I'm going to get into some music now. Now, your last release was a single called Solace, which was last summer. And up to then, you've only released singles and EPs. You know, what's happening right now with new music? Can we expect a full length anytime soon? And I believe you're dropping like a single tomorrow, actually, called Coup de Grace. Can you tell me more about it? What's going on?
Yeah, so we're releasing Coup de Grace tomorrow. We've announced our new EP that's coming out, The Path of Destruction. Which is 6 songs. We're already kind of working up on the follow-up to that at the minute, so we're hoping now for a steady stream of content. I don't know when we'll get around to a full album. It's mostly just kind of financial constraints that's preventing us from doing it. We've really had to raid the piggy bank to get the EP together.
I understand.
But yeah, no, it's not for a shortage of material.
What's the situation with the situation with like writing and recording? Do you do everything DIY? You do it at home, or do you literally go and pay a studio and someone to do everything for you?
So with this one and Solace, obviously Solace. We had the song wrote even before I joined the band. I joined the band 2 years ago. They had the song sort of, the start of it. And then it came into fruition when sort of Miles joined, the singer. Then we took it to the studio, sort of nailed it down. And then we were like, right, we want to up his game with this recording. So we sort of went a different direction with the recording process. Went to a guy called Adam Gadsby, good friend of ours. He's in a great band called Veiled. Like their quality. We showed him the song. He sort of give us good direction, what, we can do better, stuff like that. Recorded it at the studio. He did it all, like all the guitars and stuff at his house, very sort of DIY, but it sounds great. So
it does.
Can't about that.
And how do you like to write and record together? I mean, how is the writing done? Obviously, you're all in Leeds, right? So you're not too far away from each other, I gather. Do you get together in a room and do it that way, or do you tend to do things remotely?
Dylan?
Well, it depends. Like previously, it used to be like I'd come up with something and then we'd just do that. But like how we're writing songs at the minute, it's like everyone more gets involved now. So like Jimmy will come up with a riff and then we'll all sort of jam it at rehearsal and just like make it better. Which just I feel it's really improved the songwriting because we all add our ideas and different influences into it.
Yeah,
it's like so much better that way. So that's how we've done all the songs in the EP. That's how they all come about basically. It's like everyone's all had their own input into it.
What about lyrics? Is Miles involved in that? Is he get involved with that?
Yeah, Miles is like full front of that now. Like before, like with Solace. I believe Dylan wrote all the lyrics for that, and then Miles like tweaked a few of them. I even added like the pre-chorus and stuff, like, you know. But with the Path of Destruction EP, Miles had like, you know, full reign over that, and like I'm really glad that he has, because he's like a very personable guy, and like, you know, his lyrics are, you know, proper from the heart, and I like, even though I'm in the band, it's like nice to hear something, you know, that means something to someone. You can tell.
Well, I think it's always important from my perspective when a vocalist writes the lyrics, because they actually sing from the heart, and you know, for what from the pain maybe, or whatever the background. Talking about that, what's he writing about? What themes are running through your tracks? And before he joined the band, what were the themes then? Have they kind of met in the middle, or the same thing, same themes?
I think before Miles joined, it was like kind of witchcraft and like
folklore,
little bit of political stuff, a little bit of I don't know, like angsty lyrics. Whereas Miles has kind of added a depth of maturity, and is a very well-spoken person, and he can talk in depth and intelligently on such a wide variety of topics, and he just adds so much more to it. Mm-hmm. One of the songs, the title track of the EP, were at Jimmy's, where he's sat currently, and we were demoing the song, and I remember sitting there, and Miles came in. He'd written these lyrics on the train on the way there, and he's gunning them out, and he's projecting his voice, but it's so fast the way he's doing it. And I'm thinking, like, this is a really fast song, and we're doing it with his hands, and you're doing that with your tongue and getting air around it.
Yeah.
So fucking
the delivery was mad. Like, my missus was literally in the bedroom, and she was like, "What the hell's going on in there?" It was so bad.
So you guys are all the string guys. So how do you come up with those riffs? I always ask guitarists, I'm a drummer myself, so I'm not in that zone, but how do you ever get like, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have like some kind of idea you have to sing into your phone, or you in some random place that you got to get it down? Does that ever happen a lot? Do you get inspiration from anywhere?
Sometimes, but a lot of it is more of just me hitting and hoping. Like, I just mess about and think, oh, that sounds good, and then record it on my phone and send it to
Spray and pray.
The group chat. Yeah, spray and pray. But like, sometimes I do, like, say I'll be listening to a song, I'm like, oh, I won't mind doing something like that. But then when I try to do something like that, I write something completely different, which is funny. That's one of a few riffs of mine, like, I've come up with it.
That's how it always starts, though, isn't it? Yeah. Like, it's like a tree. Like, you've got a base, you listen to it, and you're like, where can it go from there? Like, I always like, you said voice notes and stuff, Dan. I always do that. I hum like a riff or like a melody, and then I'll try emulate that, and you know, when I get home, and then you know, progress it from there. Yeah.
What about that, Luke? You agree with that?
Yeah. There's a few times I get all of my creative ideas between like 11 and 1 o'clock in the morning. So Dylan just gets a tirade of messages from me going, what about this idea? What about this idea?
That's good, though. That's good.
And a lot of my ideas come from me trying to learn a song and failing miserably. And the riff I write is a variation of me failing to learn someone else's.
Of course. That's life in general, right? But so let's talk about the history now. How did you all get together? Well, I can assume, I'm just assuming, you were friends maybe before this, and you kind of from the same neck of the woods, you got it together, or obviously there's been some changes over the last few years. So talk to me about the history and how you all know each other, and how you brought Miles in, and say, you know, you, Jimmy, as well, who came in later.
Yeah. Well, me and the drummer and the old singer were like the family members, and then we put an ad up for a bassist, and the original bassist invited Luke in. The bassist got kicked out. Then after that, the other bassist who got after that first bassist left, and then we knew Jimmy from like nights out. Like the first time I met Jimmy, it was at an afters, and we listened to Alice in Chains. And then
we bonded really well over Jerry Cantrell and Lane Staley, and that was really nice.
Absolutely.
That's when he joined, and then
I came to your headline gig at Key Club, and I crowd surfed, and you were like,
yeah, there's a photo of Jimmy crowd surfing during that gig, which is funny. But then then when Miles joined, because he knew Dan from university, So he came into it that way.
And that's it. That's the history of the band.
Well,
in a nutshell.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. and then when Miles joined, it was like, I don't know, because it was so different, like, to what we were doing before. Like, I don't know, it just made I felt like we were all in the same boat. Like, we wanted a direction, and that was the time where it was like proper, let's try as best, to do something with it,
sure,
musically.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the new EP, when's that? When's the new EP dropping?
What is it? 23rd?
26th.
Yeah, April.
Of April, yeah. So so obviously that is going to be the majority of your 2024. Obviously you've got shitloads of songs as well that you could record and take to an album. But what else is on the bucket list and agenda for the rest of this year?
We've got loads of gigs like lined up this year, like like all day festivals and stuff, supporting some good bands, like big bands. That's like what we were hoping to do last year, and then we were lucky enough to sort out Bloodstock. So that sort of pegged us up a level with what we're trying to do this year, and that's already sort of fallen on us laps with the offers that we've got, which is great. But we don't just want to play gigs. We want to write obviously more material, which we have been doing like in between gigging and stuff.
Yeah.
We had like 4 months out like at Christmas because this drummer broke his foot. So that were like a time to reminisce and get back in and, songwriting and stuff.
Fucking drummers.
Yeah, I'd say definitely just like pushing the boat on what we can do. Like, we what did you say, Luke? Like, it's like a game. Like when you're playing gigs, like for a up and coming band, you want to travel about. You don't just want to stay in the same place. Like, done Leeds. Like, we're starting to, move about. Like, we're playing Manchester Academy, and that's like we see that as like
it's a great venue.
There. Yeah, man. And then we just want to keep doing that, like in other places as well, because like we've done pretty much the whole north sort of thing, Scotland. So we're just trying to work us up at Scotland and then down south too.
Yeah. So can I just go into the history? Can I go into your individual metal stories? I like to get in, underneath the skin of what got you into metal. What's your metal story? What bands, influencers, friends helped you along the way to get you to where you are now and to be producing the awesome music you're doing? How did it start? One at a time.
I don't know. I mean, I was 13 and I messaged my mate on MSN going, do you want to start a band? And we spent the entire summer working on music. Like listening back to it's fucking terrible, but we thought it was like world-changing shit at the time.
Okay, Luke, I'll stop you there, Luke. Where did you start? What got you to want to stop doing music? What bands were it? What was it?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Yeah,
it's all right. I like to hear that as well. It's all right.
For me, Avenged Sevenfold self-titled album, like the guitar work on that album, the creativity of it, and just how melodic but heavy it was for me at the time, definitely transformed kind of how I play lead guitar. Right. And how I approach it when I'm adding it into a song.
Right.
Like it's not just doodly bits for the sake of adding a doodle. It's like, how can I add like another dimension to this song?
Well, I've basically always been into metal. My mum and dad and stepdad have all been into that sort of music. Yeah. So I always sort of wanted to do that. But I say like most people, I think into metal, it's probably Metallica for me. Like I've even got a crap Metallica tattoo on my leg. So like they like that's basically what got me into it. But like, it wasn't the I was listening to Sepultura, and I was just like, I really want to make a band.
What about you, Jimmy?
It's basically, I was like,
you carry on, Dylan. Sorry, carry on, Dylan.
Right. I was listening to Sepultura. I was like, I just want to make a band. So that's how basically Godeth started. So I kept messaging from it, saying, let's start a band, and then the rest is history, I suppose.
Awesome, Jimmy?
Yeah. And then like for me, I took like the totally opposite way. Like I hated metal growing up. Like it wasn't, none of my family liked it. I was brought up on the Beatles, Oasis, Stone Roses, very like indie bands like from the 90s. It wasn't up until like I was like coming of age, like 16, 17, 18, I was listening to like grunge type bands like Alice in Chains, Nirvana,
Yeah.
Soundgarden. And then like as I've got older, you know, I've found something else and it's just progressively got heavier. And then I feel like now it's just like anything that's, you know, heavy, I can appreciate.
It's where you belong. So
yeah.
who would be on your Mount Rushmores? You know, thinking about Mount Rushmore is like 4 major characters. Who would be on your like Mount Rushmore of rock and metal or music?
That's tough.
Oh, that is tough.
I think I might have mine.
Go on, here we go.
Mine, Jerry Cantrell,
Bastard.
Tony Iommi, Peter Steele, and
Steele, love him.
Dimebag Darrell. It's great.
I met Pete Steele many years ago at Typo Negative gig, Rock City. I was backstage, met Pete Steele, and infamously that week in Kerrang, there was a picture of him with his hands around me, pretending to throttle me. And it was like major picturing, Kerrang, I've got it somewhere. It's what an amazing guy, gentleman, an absolute gentleman he was, absolute gentleman, a monster, absolute monster.
Yeah.
Go on, Jimmy, what's yours?
Dylan just took half of mine because like I was gonna go with the same bands but different members. Yeah, I was gonna go Lane Staley, Bill Ward, and then I was gonna say Dimebag too, but I'll allow that.
You know, you can have. You got this is your Mount Rushmore, Jimmy. Relax, man. You know what you want.
This is mine. Yeah, it's all mine.
I think you want more short though.
To be fair, yeah, I'd go vocal wise.
Hasn't got to be band. Hasn't got to be a full band. It could be 4 vocalists.
Oh right,
influences.
Yeah.
Influences. You're giving Luke loads of time now. He's got about 12 now in his head.
I'd go Matt Honeycutt from Kublai Khan. He's like my favourite vocalist now. But yeah, I reckon that'll do me.
Done. Luke, your turn.
Sinister Gates from Avenged, Matt Tuck from Bullet, Winston from Parkway Drive.
Wow.
And I'm going to say the Rev from Avenged. I know that's 2 from Avenged. But yeah.
I can see all your influences just from that question. Blimey, wow. Okay, so you guys are from Yorkshire, a place close to my heart. What's the scene like in Yorkshire? I think you touched upon it, but you know, you started, you know, 2 years, so many years before the pandemic, a few months before the pandemic, maybe 18 months or whatever. How has things changed? You know, I haven't been back to the UK very often, but has the club scene fully recovered now since the pandemic? Did it really make much of a difference? How was that?
Dylan?
I think it's always been like quite good, but like Leeds is one of them places where if you know where to look for it, you can find it.
Yeah.
But it's not like I know, like we got Temple of Boom, and we got to play it before lockdown, and then we've got to play it after lockdown. When we played it before lockdown, like it was dead, but it was kind of like the underground hardcore kind of venue, and then we got to play it after lockdown. And it's just the Friday night there in the main room's like free entry, and that's like wall to wall. Like we got to do a show there just before Christmas, and it's probably one of my favourite shows to date.
Right, Boom and Key Club are like 2 of the big places in Leeds. Like I'd 100% say Boom because like it's like, you know, it means everything to like every up and coming band. Like, you know, they want to play there. Like they've got such a prestigious name from, like, you know, supported like loads of big acts and small acts, and it's, you know, just proper. It's good. I feel like the scene sort of revolves around there, and then Key Club like the next
Key Club,
step up, I'd say, yeah.
Is the academy still there in Leeds?
Yeah.
Leeds or Sue's there.
Yeah, I've been there many times, not many years. So talking about venues and that, show wise, you know, you seem to be very much a live band, right? You know, how many shows have you got under your belt? Do you go far and wide? Where haven't you been in the UK, and where do you want to go?
We've probably got about 60 or 70 gigs under our belt at the minute.
Wow.
Obviously we want to, our thing at the minute is building year on year, like do more gigs the next year, bigger gigs, better gigs. Like Jimmy said earlier that I likened it to a video game, and I did. It's like the UK is a map, and we're like level 1 in all these cities, but like maybe level 3 in Leeds and level 2 in Manchester. So I just want to keep going up like venue sizes, like getting to play with other bands, like learning from other bands as well.
Yeah.
Like the bigger stages you're on, you get to see kind of how bands choreograph and how they move together. So there's a lot to learn from them. It's not just I want to play bigger because I want to play in front of a bigger crowd. It's because I also want to learn off the bands that are on that stage, so I can kind of master my craft better myself.
And have you got what shows are in the pipeline for the rest of the year or even the next few? I know you've got some gigs coming up, soon.
Yeah.
I've got Dylan.
Yeah, so we got like 17s booked in so far for this year. And like, we've still got offers coming in, still want to do more. Like, we've got 4 or 5 next month, and 4 of them are headliners, which is good. Like, we've got one in Nottingham, Rotherham. We're headlining like a festival in Leeds at the Key Club, which we'll look forward to. And then playing in Leeds as well. So it's going all over, really.
Have you got representation, or are you doing it all DIY yourself?
All ourselves.
Wow, that's good going. Really good going.
Yeah.
So what's your best gig so far? I think you might have mentioned it, but it's probably going to be the Bloodstock gig must have been quite special.
Yeah, definitely.
I think all of us will probably say that one, I think, because it was a bucket list item for me playing that festival. So to actually do it, pretty incredible on a 4-day over as well.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is the go-to answer, but I feel like the whole process of the Metal to the Masses phases, because it was like, quarter-final, semi-final, final, that was proper like enthralling, because like the first gig that we did, it was Miles's first gig with us, and that was in the competition. So his first show was the quarterfinals, and then we won the semis, and then won the final, and then got to Bloodstock.
How does the judging work for that?
So the quarterfinals and the semi-finals is 50-50 crowd and judge, and then the last one, it's the Bloodstock representative comes and declares it. But the guy Simon Hall, who runs it, he wasn't able to make it, so he had like a guest come in to do it for him that year when we won, luckily. But, it was
because Simon Hall might have hated you, so it was a good.
He probably does.
That's a great win, guys, and what a fantastic, like, the whole process of that meant it was more rewarding rather than saying you got Bloodstock. You grafted to get to that point.
Yeah, it was,
to
just
get that
so
prize.
fast-paced.
Yeah, especially because prior to that, before Miles joining, we struggled so long to find another singer. So like, we were all so close to just giving up, and then he joins and he just changed everything basically.
There you go. Things happen for a reason.
Props to Miles.
Yeah. So did you Bloodstock? Did you get any? Dare I say, like, backstage starstruck with that? Oh my God! Look who that is! Only like that happen.
I saw the singer of Sepultura, but no one believes me.
Yeah, I saw him as well, Jimmy.
Well, you do, yeah.
Big Derek.
That was good. That was cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think that's the one I saw.
Yeah, ain't it? Like, everyone just looked really cool and like flashy. So they all could have been famous.
Yeah, cool. I understand. So if you could tour with 3 bands, you can have one each. Who would you like to choose? I think I could probably name them after discussing what we just discussed. But could you give me a band each? Let's not go crazy. Let's not say Alice in Chains, but let's go more realistic. What's realistic? Okay, let's have 2 lists: a realistic band and a not realistic band. Go.
Kind of realistic, but I'm not sure if they are. Harriet, because I absolutely love Harriet.
Right.
And they're really good. And then unrealistic, Rammstein.
Love it.
Love Rammstein.
Luke, you're next. You're gonna give Jimmy some more time this time.
King 810 for realistic. Like, their stuff hits like a fucking brick. And Parkway Drivers probably unrealistic.
Yeah. You say that though, but it is realistic. You're in the game, guys.
On the same path.
You're in the games. You're in the game. Look at bands like Bokassa, who went and supported Metallica or throughout Europe for like a few days. It's like anything's possible. Jimmy, your turn.
Realistic, not close. I don't know, like Oasis. I'd love to meet Noel and Liam Gallagher. I probably would.
Back in the day, I saw Oasis a couple of times. I was at the two of their biggest gigs, Nebworth and Main Road.
Nebworth.
Back in the day,
Nice.
I was dragged. I only went
Oh,
because
really?
well, not my kind of music, mate. But I went because Prodigy were playing on the in Nebworth, and the other gig was I was in the area, so I had ticket. Anyway, moving on. So if let's have some random questions, guys. If metal didn't exist, what music would you play? What do you like away from metal?
Country.
Yeah.
I absolutely love country music. Like proper slow, nice. They're the best lyricists in the world. They really are. They can tell a story.
They can tell a story. I like some of the old stuff. Like
like
Waylon James. What is it? Waylon Jenkins?
James.
Some classic stuff. Okay, Dylan.
A hybrid of goth and like 80s synth.
Okay, nice. A bit of like Sisters of Mercy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Sisters Mercy.
Yeah, man. Luke.
Does emo still exist in this world?
I don't know. Some of the guys are in prison, aren't they?
I don't know, you got your handcuffs here.
You can go emo if you want, Luke. It's not a problem, mate. You can. It's bordering, but we'll allow it. Okay.
The Safe Space emo band.
Let's save space. Okay, next. What do you do away from the band, guys? What do you like to do when you like switch off from music? Is it box sets, Netflix, or do you go out and about? Are you skaters? What do you do?
I'm like gym and gaming. If I'm not in the band, I'm shouting at someone on Halo, and if I'm not there, I'm lifting stuff in the gym.
That's funny. Good. Jimmy.
I'd say just literally working, coming home, spending time with the missus, and like just relaxing. Like I'm so complacent.
You seem quite chill, mate. To be honest with you, you seem quite chill.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Dylan.
For me, I like watching football and
Leeds.
You'd never tell.
Leeds. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so right, well, two of these questions. Okay, this is very, very personal choice, and obviously with all your different styles of music, what do you deem to be the heaviest song of all time?
Oh,
can I go first? Because I already know.
Go
on. Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I guess that's mentioned quite a lot. Luke and Dylan, you got to fight for your spot here.
It's hurting. I had an answer in my head for this a couple of months ago. I forgot.
I had one as well, and it was really clever, and I had reasoning behind it. It wasn't like shouty heavy; it was emotionally heavy. And now I'm on the spot. I can't remember.
You know what? I sometimes do this question like, "What's the heaviest riff of all time?" And I think you'll be probably for me one of the heaviest riffs of all time. It's very surprising. As you mentioned the band a few times, it's probably Check My Brain. Is one of the things for me. Is one of the chunkiest, heaviest riffs you don't expect from that kind of band. You know what I mean? It's a fucking naughty riff that gets me every time.
So good. That's why James wants out.
And go on, back to the question. Heaviest songs. Come on. Dylan's going through his bloody Spotify now.
I'll go for a basic answer with Pantera Domination.
Yeah. Okay. Luke, you've had loads of time.
Bullet. Her voice resides.
Oh, for God's sake. Grow up.
One trick pony. Okay, here we go. So if you could relocate to any country in the world, where would you go? You don't have to have been there, somewhere you might think it would be cool to live. If Leeds was obliterated and you had to go somewhere else, where would you go?
Bradford.
Not the UK.
Berlin for me. Yeah. Favorite city. Absolutely love
cool. It. Very cool.
Greece.
I
fucking love it. So.
Yeah, I hate this shit. That's God. Bad shit, that, mate. Uzo. Ugh.
Yeah, I'd live off that and I'd dissolve myself in the space of a week.
Oh, my God. You would. Jimmy?
Yeah, Italy. Like somewhere proper countryside.
Old school.
Loads of trees.
Like it. Okay, if you could have any superpower, what power would it be and why?
Invisibility, so I could kick the fuck out of a mime artist.
What is that?
That's the greatest answer I've ever had. I've never heard anything like it.
Quick.
Dylan, he must have known this one. That was too quick. He's been quite slow tonight, but that was quite quick. Dylan?
Teleportation, just so I can not have to travel anywhere. I can go wherever I want.
Yeah, cool. That takes the fun.
You'd
I think
still be
an airport.
fucking-
I think an airport's a lot of fun though. I like an airport. It would take the fun out of that travel.
It did go in there, but going back, it's horrible.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like, it's a bit depressing.
Eating
Yeah.
a Burger King at 4 a.m. Ugh, hungover. Horrible. Jimmy?
Just proper good memory. So then you could look at some, like photographic memory.
Yeah.
Learn
Yeah.
anything.
People have that, I think, anyway, don't they? Wow. That's,
Yeah, I know, innit? And that's a
it's
superpower.
nuts, isn't it? Right, if you could choose, we're coming to the end of this now. If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, what would you play? One track.
You Sexy Thing, Hot Chocolate.
No, what an answer.
Oh, bastard.
Fast. Imagine that, walking into a doctor's surgery.
You're going to walk in like
Courtroom.
oh, yeah. No, that's Luke with Bullet.
Yeah. Go on then, guys. What is it?
Without picking my own band for like exposure purposes, I will go Raining Blood by Slayer. It's got a bit of a
Yeah. Luke.
Freak on a leash, you can definitely walk to that beat.
Freak on a leash. Yeah, I like it. Good answers. Right. What's something you think everyone should try once?
I don't want to.
Anything.
Sorry, I had to stop myself saying the first thing that came into my head.
Yeah.
Playing bass for a band.
Yeah.
A banana colada cocktail because it's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow. Nice.
No, the hottest hot sauce. You got to try that at least once.
Of course you have.
That's a good answer.
Right, Ego, there's
And
one
the-
each. One each. This is a question that's split into 3. Describe the band in 3 words.
Massive.
Groovy.
Ah,
Oh.
massive, groovy.
Needs to be like a finishing word.
Yeah, come on. We're all rooting for you, Luke.
Ah,
Just put down.
massive, groovy Slayers. I don't know,
Slayers.
does that work?
Yeah, you can
Slay
slay.
it.
It's fine. You can slay. That's massive groovy slayers. I like it. Sounds like a band name. Right. Good jazz name. Massive groovy slayers. Right. So, what one track from your repertoire sums the band up the best, do you think? One track.
Yeah, I feel like we'd all go like Solace.
Yeah, Solace.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I've heard, for sure. Now, this is my last question. What is the most used emoji in your phone?
Crying, laughing one because I don't use them often apart from for that.
Jimmy.
The old machine.
Mate. So
Yeah.
sexual, Luke. Christ, mate, get it out. Just get out.
I'd go fire emoji because
Fire.
every time we all send music in.
Yeah, it's fine, man.
alright.
Well, Dylan, Luke, and Jimmy from Godeth, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. Good luck for 2024. Can't wait to hear new music, and I'm expecting big things for you.
Cheers, Dan. Thanks for having us, mate.
Yes. Thanks for having us.